The Golden Knights dropped their fourth in a row, this time falling to the New York Islanders on the road 2-1. VGK 1 goal against the Isles in 6 periods this season. Our comments and reactions come your way next, right here on Lockdown Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi again, everyone. Tony Cardasco, longtime Las Vegas sportscaster and marketing consultant to the Stars, along with our guy, Chris Golick, collectibles editor for the Hockey News, longtime VGK season ticket holder. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. You like those little short bios? I know you do, Golick. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Make sure to subscribe to our Lockdown Golden Knights YouTube channel. Coming up later, we will have Concerns Are Growing. Is this funk what's expected this time of the year, or should we have a lot of concern? And also, who's to blame, Cassidy or the VGK players? Plenty of blame to go around. We're brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app today. Use that promo code LOCKDOWNNHL, $20 off of your first purchase. Yet another game, Chris, in which VGK piles up a ton of offensive zone time, outshoots an opponent, but comes away with just 1 goal, and that goal by Brendan Saad, who potted his first VGK goal. But that was it. And the Islanders last night, Ilya Sorokin, the hottest goaltender in all of the game in the league right now, saving 33 of 34 shots on goal. New York edges the Golden Knights 2-1. VGK played with 11-7 lineup last night after Tanner Pearson was out due to an injury. Lavoie was sick too. Was that the case?
I believe that's what it was, yeah.
Okay. And Caden Korczak drew in. You said yesterday you thought Caden Korczak might appear, and he did, the 7th defenseman late last night. What was your reacts to the latest?
Was dumb luck the way Korczak got in that one. Normally, I'll definitely take a victory lap, but this was just
no victory lap
right there.
Give us your reaction.
I got some puck luck yesterday, Tony. I got some puck luck yesterday.
You did? How?
I called Korczak.
Oh, that's puck luck. I got you.
It took a little puck luck for that to happen. That's all.
Okay.
So, I mean, listen, it's weird, right? I mean, first of all, the 11-7 didn't factor one bit in that game last night. Golden Knights, on paper, they played the game they needed to do, right? They had 14 high danger chances.
14.
The Islanders 5, and the Islanders still find a way to get 2 goals in the game. The positive, before we blast Noah Hannafin, because it's coming, the positive is Coach Cassidy made some changes to the defensive pairings. And you look at least the last 2 games, okay? The Rangers game, I will very comfortably put that loss on Adin Hill. I thought he was terrible in that game. Golden Knights, still only 2 goals, but if Adin Hill has an Adin Hill game, which isn't an amazing game by any means, the Golden Knights win the game against the Rangers 2-1, 2-0, whatever, fine. You look at the Islanders game now, same thing, 14-5 as far as high danger chances go. Golden Knights gave up 2 goals. The defense and the goaltending had a winnable effort from a totality perspective. Now, Noah Hannafin out there for both goals. The first goal I was watching as you were doing the intro, I think you said something to me, and I totally ignored you because I was watching Noah Hannafin not skating back. But again, if you go on the NHL.com or websites, the goal visualizer, this is the first goal of the game that the Islanders score, where White Cloud gets beat down the boards. Hannafin is at center ice just coasting in there. And if you want a comparable, remember, I think Shea Theodore had that drive to the net where Cassidy said he got slashed a million times. There's a
Cassidy was moaning last night, man.
There's a defenseman that just sells out and breaks up the play. That's the difference between what Noah Hannafin's doing and what a regular NHL defenseman is doing right now.
So he wound up, I'm sure, at the very top of the hockey stat card. I'm positive.
If you turn it upside down, that's exactly where he was.
Was he on the bottom?
Zach Whitecloud and Hannafin on the bottom. That's the pairing, I
The elite
assume.
fighter, Zach Whitecloud. Elite
Yeah,
fighter.
yeah. Everyone's like saying, "Oh, Whitecloud stood up to Rempe the other day." He waited until all the refs were sitting around him, and he sucker punched him in the jaw. Come on, let's acknowledge
He's
what really
lucky.
happened there.
He's lucky he didn't get a beating on that one too, because we know Rempe, right?
Or later in
Uh,
the game, yeah.
so I had tweeted out that VGK should have taken some odd or sharp angle shots in the game. Do whatever you
I
can.
love those shots. You know that I love those types of goals.
I know, and they sometimes go in against a hot goaltender. We've seen this happen, right? Remember what was the game in which Keegan Colasar said in between periods we got to take the goaltender's eyes away. Then they went out and he scored a goal because he was doing some googly eyes at
Like an
the.
old, is that like an old Oilers, like against Oilers, like Stuart Skinner or something a while
I
back
don't
when he scored
remember.
late
Like,
in the game.
yeah, it's well probably the last goal 100 games ago for Colasar,
It's been a minute.
for the Flying Burrito brother. But yeah, he said you just take the eyes away. No net front presence for this team, though. They're very soft in the middle. There's very little to none. And again, though, they have the puck in the offensive zone. They have a slew of chances, a lot of shots. You talked about high danger chances, but they cannot find the back of the net. Oh, this is so, I can't say frustrating. Sorry. Not on this show. That's like swearing, right?
Put $1 in the jar.
Okay. Frustrating. Very frustrating.
14 shots on goal given up, 5 high danger chances given up. That's it's no big deal if this is the Golden Knights ran into a hot goalie, they'll bounce back against New Jersey, or they're coming off a victory against the Rangers or a victory against the Blue Jackets last week, stuff like that. Like if this is a regular pocket of the season where the Vegas Golden Knights are playing, 650 points percentage type of hockey, 700 points percentage type of hockey, hot goalie, it happens. That's literally, I buried what the lead would have been if the Golden Knights were playing okay, but it doesn't matter right now. Sure, the Golden Knights ran into a hot goalie and a weird situation. The Islanders are still the most boring team in hockey to watch. That first period was just abysmal, and then obviously the breakdown, and that's the thing. Like these breakdowns right now that are happening right now.
Oh, you saw it? ESPN Plus had it blacked out again when the game is in New York. The games are blacked out locally when VGK is playing on the stinking East Coast. Don't get me started.
Yeah, I don't know how that nonsense works. I know it was on Nighttime Minus. I started watching the game on that, and then I got pissed off and found a website that you're probably not supposed to use to
It's
watch the
illegal.
hockey games.
Yeah,
But,
it's illegal.
whatever. I don't
Sure.
care. That's what the Golden Knights forced me to do because Nighttime Minus is a big pile of what. But going back to, again, the Islanders are boring. They're boring. But it's also a winning brand of hockey, at least in the regular season. Like no team that is in a tough circumstance in February wants to play the Islanders. It's like the worst team you could draw. And it's also a good test as well to get yourself out of the funk. And the Golden Knights failed that challenge. The Golden Knights, there's been all sorts of changes to the lineup and things like that. We'll hit a little bit of that in the second and third segment, I guess, but been all these changes to the lineup and everything, and it's not necessarily producing right now. It's fixing some issues, but you wonder if separating Pietrangelo and Hannafin would identify which one of those are the problem. And I think against the Rangers, Pietrangelo was on the bottom. And then now against the Islanders, Hannafin's on the bottom. Again, that's what, $15.7 million or something like that in AAV right now. And this is a concern. That is a major, major concern.
Here's an odd stat for you. Every Golden Knight defenseman took at least one shot last night, 4 for Shea Theodore. So when I went through the box score, what this is telling me.
Korzak, honest question.
What's that?
Did you include, is that Korzak
Yes.
as well? Did you get a shot? Okay, I didn't know. Okay,
one
cool.
shot. The one shot. Yes. All of them. Every one of them. And what it tells me though, Chris, is that I think VGK might be trying a little bit too hard, might be pressing, and they're also trying to manufacture goals by the defenseman. When I saw that number, it was rather glaring. You never see every defenseman taking at least one shot, 13 shots in all.
I mean, this goes back to Coach Cassidy about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, making the comment the defense needs to press more and get more active in in the scoring, and it worked for a while, starting with Noah Hannafin. Hannafin had a brilliant run where he was every time he touched the puck, it was going. And Alex Pietrangelo was one of the hottest players in hockey for a moment, at least for the defenseman. But it doesn't always work out like that, and it's the gripping your stick tightly, right? It's every cliche imaginable.
They're pressing. They're absolutely pressing.
That.
They're pressing right now.
They're pressing,
are.
but the defense isn't playing from a totality perspective. Hasn't been playing that bad the last couple of games. So if there's a positive in that, yes, they're definitely pressing though, and it's a bad spot to be in. And how focused are they right now? How focused is the team right now? They're looking. We got 2 more games and we got 2 weeks off. 2 more games, 2 weeks off. Most of the players. I wish they'd all have 2 weeks off. I wish every player would pull out of the 4 nations so they can focus on their employer instead of playing practice hockey games for their country. But I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to
rip that.
Next
the
week.
next
So
okay, so remember I was talking about Pietrangelo. Shut him down. So in between periods, State run yesterday asking Pietrangelo about the effects of his injury and how much pain he's in or what have you, or how much discomfort. And he just said, I'd rather not talk about that. If I could put my skates on, I'm going to go out there and play. He needs to be stinking shut down. Give him the 2 games plus. And at this juncture, it doesn't matter. I don't know if they're going to win any games. I think right now they're in a mental funk as well. And then Bruce last night. Bruce was absolutely, can we talk about him for a moment too? Because he was absolutely, I can't say frustrated. He was PO'd or mad. And he starts ripping the officials last night. Missed calls, including one that went against VGK on an icing call. The most frustrated guy in the room is Bruce. He's frustrated.
Where is that frustration going is the question. And I'm not going to get too deep into it. We're going to hit that a little harder in the third. But Cassidy, just like the rest of the team, is a little bit unhinged right now. And I get it. There's pressure and everything. It's tough. Pietrangelo, so and credit State Run for asking the question. I mean, I don't know what they were. It was State Run, right? I mean, it was
State Run in between. Okay. Yeah, in between.
Yeah,
periods.
I'm shocked. I'm sure someone got an email, a meeting planner about that question.
Yeah.
But Alex Pietrangelo, here's what tells you something's up. He only got 1946.
Why would he answer that question so that of course the word would get out. Other teams are going to rock him. They're going to go after that injury. Oh yeah, I'm in a lot of pain.
Cool. He's just going to go after every bone in his body.
Absolutely.
Pietrangelo, 1946 time on ice yesterday. So that's something to monitor. He's usually in that 21 to 20.
I was going to say, yeah.
Ivan Barbashev, 22 minutes out there last night. Jack Eichel and Barbashev, the same exact time on ice, 22 minutes and 22 seconds.
What about Korzak? How much did he play?
334 for Korzak.
Was he skating by himself? Did Pete DeBoer implement the game plan with 11 and 7?
Dorofeev 18:29, Theodore 21:42, Olofsson even out there for 15:28. That's probably a couple minutes higher. Mark Stone 19:35. So you got these all the forwards changing spots right now, and I'll hit that harder in the third segment. But I feel like I need Mark Stone out there more than Ivan Barbashev right now.
Bo Horvat had the first goal for the Islanders. Brock Nelson on a deflection that was puck luck. Tomas Hertl did not
3
have
feet in the air, and he knocked it out there. 3 feet in the air, and they're going in for them, not for us. Yeah, okay,
right. They're going in. Hertl last night took a puck to the privates. That was again in my game notes. I had to make sure I mentioned that. Oh, okay. So last night it was VGK night at UNLV. So they need to stop doing this. They need to quit it. So the drum bots were there, the dancers are there. Golden Pipes was singing the anthem. I don't understand the connection. That's another story. VGK, 1 for 34 on its shots. UNLV, 1 for 16 behind the arc. 2 for 50. 2 for 50. Quit it. No more. Let's take a break. This happens every season. Should we really be concerned? That is our topic next, right here on this spicier edition, perhaps, of Locked On Golden Knights. Are you still looking for Super Bowl tickets? Well, here in Las Vegas, we've got Kenny Chesney at the Sphere. That is a red hot ticket. And the prices on Super Bowl tickets are coming down. So now they're only in the $4,000 and $5,000 range. No joke. So many ticket deals. You could find them all on Gametime, which also has this new feature called Gametime Picks. It makes getting tickets for events even easier, filtering out the fluff. It shows you the incredible deals on great seats, so you don't even have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The super deal, that's impressive, offering the best value for the event. The app's features like seat views before you buy and all in pricing with no surprise fees at checkout made this experience very smooth and reliable. Plus, the on time ticket delivery that's very good, and also the lowest price guarantee. It gives you peace of mind before you go to the event, which is something that you need. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets today with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off of the first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account. Use that redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Game Time, right? We don't
Game
have
time.
they changed the copy on you, bro.
Oh,
so
okay. I was ready.
Welcome back, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We sure do appreciate you making us your first listen every day. Find us wherever you get your podcast. Please make sure to subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights YouTube channel. Fridays, we've got WTF. Saturdays, sometimes the Chris and Chris Jr. Show. So, is this normal VGK pre-break slump, or as Cassidy might call it, a slumber? Should have a slumber party, right? Or is this a lot more? VGK limping into the Four Nations face-off. I feel this is the reason for concern with the Funk, because the Golden Knights aren't playing with emotion. I feel as though they are a team that, to be quite frank, they played way over their heads, right? Early on in the season, scoring a slew of goals.
Yep.
And now they've come back to reality, and they ran out of gas, I think, heading into this big break.
One of my tweets, I think, yesterday was...
You had a lot. You did have a lot. I was trying to catalog them.
Had a few. But after the first period, the question was, have the league figured out the Vegas Golden Knights this year, or is this simply what happens every season, which is kind of where this topic came from? Looking back, the 22-23 Stanley Cup run before the All-Star break, you got 4 losses in a row, but you also have two loser points in there. You have two games that went to overtime. So that doesn't feel that bad. It's not that good. 21-22, I'm trying to find exactly where the All-Star break was. The Golden Knights had 2 weeks off. They were off from the 1st to the 8th. They played games on the 8th and 9th back to back, and then they got another week off. So I'm sure I can only imagine what our podcast was like looking at that schedule right there. But it's 500 hockey before and after. Like, it's not that bad of a run. Going to 23-24, trying to find exactly where the All-Star break was. And again, it was middling hockey leading up to the break right now. So this does, for lack of a better term, happen more times than it doesn't leading to the All-Star break. And we forecast this was going to happen. I think you said 16 points for January. I said 14 or 15, and it was 15 points. So we both had a feeling this was going to happen. People, of course, thought we were crazy when we said the Golden Knights were going to have
I was just being my negative self. It's never true, just being negative.
No, exactly. So dry January and continues into dry February.
Yeah.
Are they going to bounce back? I guess that's the question, right? Coming out of this stupid break, I'll call it the stupid break. That's better.
It is. It really is.
Vancouver, home game, travel to LA. That's going to be very tough. And then you got a
LA
game home streak.
LA's got a bunch of home games now. You know that? Because they were on the road for a minute. So watch out.
You got Chicago, which hopefully that's a win. But then you got New Jersey, Toronto, Pittsburgh, Los Angeles, all teams that are right in the middle of it as far as playoff contention. And then you go to Pittsburgh, Columbus, Buffalo, and Detroit. It doesn't get any easier. And are the Golden Knights going to play better when the lights get brighter, when there's an end coming, when the Stanley Cup playoffs are right around the corner? Or are they going to completely fall out of playoff contention, not even make the playoffs? If they keep on this pace, It's a carbon copy of last year is what's happening right now, Tony, if you think about it. Golden Knights were shot out of a can even stronger last year than they were this past season. And then things fell apart and they never really got going again. It was a lot of 500 hockey really from January on. And the Golden Knights made the playoffs by 2 or 3 points, first round exit. And that's where we are right now. Same thing is happening right now. And this is concerning on a number of levels, a lot of
Yeah.
levels.
A ton of levels. And I did have on my notes too, teams catching on with the structure again. We talked about that in the off season an awful lot about teams now. What would Cassidy do to counter teams late in the season last year? How many times can you stink and go low to high, Bruce? I mean, for crying out loud. And VGK again, that pressing factor, because they're trying, but it's just not happening, right? They are trying, they're giving the effort, but there's no emotion. There's no emotion, like, running emotion's not running high. They did a little Sally last night when that sad guy, Cassidy calls him sad, not sad, when he scored the goal. And
That was
the
a
pucks.
good goal too. Give him credit. Good goal.
Oh
Got to the
yeah,
net,
no,
found the
great
puck.
goal, great
I was
goal.
gonna do that.
And the one time that there was no rebound control by the Isles in that situation, but great goal.
Yeah, the one
And
time.
the one
exactly.
time, absolutely. Isn't that crazy? And then, the pucks that found the back of the net early in the season just aren't going in. I mean, let's face it, but you have to try to do something different. Take those sharp angle, odd angle shots, do something, try something different. You cannot expect a different result when you're going into the glove or the crest of the goalie. It's just not going to happen.
I think there's a cat brawl happening outside my office.
I hear
right
something
now. I'm not
going
even
on.
joking.
Yeah.
Like I looked over like 3 times. If you're just on audio, you can't see my eyes, and my eyes are wandering right now. I'm wondering.
You
if I'm
had
about
those
to a cat
Colasar
bloodbath.
eyes there for a minute, trying to take the goaltender out of his zone or what have
Someone
you.
took my cat's eyes away, I think. So there's a lot to digest in there. And listen, puck luck is a real thing. I mean, I will side with Cassidy on that. Is now the time to be bringing it up when the team is in this type of a situation and a slump and all of that? And do I want my coach
He's
making
pressing.
excuses? Right. No, do I want to hear my coach making excuses right now?
That's hockey. That is hockey. That's hockey.
The Golden Knights had they had a fun practice the other day to put their skill on display.
How many fun practices are they going to have?
Cassidy,
I'd much rather hear it was a good practice and we just battled hard and we worked on some of these areas in situational hockey.
There's a lot of things we'd rather hear, and we'll hit that harder in the next segment here. But you're hearing just all these excuses and things like that right now, and this team is tired. And oh, by the way, like we're talking about, should we really be concerned? To answer that question, there's 2 reasons why I think we should be concerned. Number one is the lack of depth scoring. Brandon Saad might help that a little bit. I think if he scores 10 goals between now and the end of the season, that's a dynamite pickup. If he does better, great. If he does less, okay, fine, whatever. But the depth scoring, like what I say. I think it was a month ago today. I think I said it's January 5th, and Brett Howden is leading the Vegas, tied for the lead in goals for the Vegas Golden Knights. This is a concern.
Yeah.
Okay. It's still a concern. Yeah, Dorofeyev has scored a few more since then and all that. And Howden's probably a little bit deeper now on that. But that tells you something right there. That doesn't tell you, oh, Brett Howden's doing well. The Golden Knights have depth scoring. No, it tells you that there's a lot of people not scoring right now. And again, keep bringing his name up. Jonathan Marchessault. You're missing that deadly winger who can turn a game on its end simply by, just firing a couple of shots. And this is a concern right now with the lack of depth scoring and missing a player like Jonathan Marchessault. And here's the other reason why there should be concern. Mark Stone missed some time, but still a relatively healthy season, on pace to play a little over 80% of the games if he sweeps the board and plays all the games. And Jack Eichel is having a magnificent season, but we've seen Eichel go through injury trouble as well. Missed 1 game just due to sickness, I believe, this year, if I'm not mistaken. You have to wonder. I mean, now you have the Golden Knights' 2 most valuable players to this lineup, and they're going to play 3 or 4 extra games in the next 2 weeks that mean nothing here. And then they're going to come back and absolutely play a blitz of a schedule starting on Monday the 24th through Wednesday the 16th. So less than 3 months to cram in about 28 hockey games or something like that. And yeah, we're going to march out our two most important players to the Four Nations here. That's where my concern comes from right now. The
Sure.
what if for Eichel and Stone getting hurt. And again, the lack of the superstar scoring outside of really a Jack Eichel and Pavel Dorofeev as far as the goal scoring side of it.
Coming up next, who is to blame? Is it Cassidy? Is it the players? You don't have there on that graphic. You ran out of space. Is it McCrimmon? Next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Super Bowl 59 is here. It's one game, two teams, the Cheats and the Eagles. And there's endless possibilities, and you can find all the action right there at FanDuel, FanDuel Sportsbook. That's the place to be. The current line, well, there's a lot of action now coming in on Philadelphia. So the Eagles now just a 1-point underdog around town. And the total also dropped a half a point down to 49. So it was 49 and a half. It held steady. I thought my number in my head was 53, but I'm no tout here. Oh, back to FanDuel. Live betting, it features a lot that you can have fun with. Of course, the app is so easy to navigate. Plus, you can also place a $5 bet and potentially win $200 in bonus bets on the Super Bowl. And that is so exciting. Download the app or head to fanduel.com to get started. And again, bet just $5. And if you win, you will score $200 in bonus bets at fanduel.com, the place to find all the props and more. Bet with FanDuel, the official partner of Super Bowl 59. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick reporting from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen each and every day. So who is to blame for this mid-season slide? So yeah, I did put McCrimmon in there too because
Fair.
he knew that he had a team of depth scorers, right? Outside of that top line, this was a major concern. And we didn't know if Hurdle would come back and have a bounce back season, which to his credit, he really has. I have to look at McCrimmon. My opinion, Bruce Cassidy and the Canadian brass should be to blame for putting so much emphasis on Four Nations. This is going to come back to bite VGK. I would have said no,
Fighting
Bruce.
already, but yeah.
I would say you cannot coach in the Four Nations because he is obsessed. He is obsessed with his Four Nations. I got to tell you. So this team right now, I think that VGK becomes a little bit, if you will, of an afterthought, comparatively speaking, and just the demeanor of Cassidy of late, where again, it's no big deal. It's just hockey. That's hockey. That's hockey. It's starting to wear on me because we never heard Bruce excuses. Was that really icing? They should have called a penalty. Like, he's never been that petty, at least to the media. So Cassidy's to blame. McCrimmon's to blame. The players are still to blame. They should shoulder the blame as well. And nothing's going right. There could be some finger pointing. And remember last week, wasn't it Hurdle who was like, players like Barbashev need to get in front of the net when he was talking between periods on State Run. A lot of finger pointing going on right now. Everyone's to blame.
I still have to go back and find that. I got a hard time putting it on McCrimmon because of how we're talking about what a genius McCrimmon was for what Olofsson's been doing and things like that, and his contributions, and how Tanner Pearson was helping this team, and even Cole Schwint was getting out there and doing things, and the Brandon Saad pickup recent. We'll see how that ends up playing.
Where is Cole Schwint? He's on.
He's on crutches. He's going to be out for a minute or two. He went from maintenance day to we'll see him next season.
Maintenance year.
Speaking of which, unfortunate for the Vegas Golden Knights that Pietrangelo and Eichel both had maintenance days and did make the game last night.
Yeah, they made the game.
In this town every time we hear that. But so I'm not going to go on McCrimmon as much right now. Now, if you want to set the table and go back to last season in the mass exodus and maybe having one or two of those players still around, okay, that's a different discussion. Or finding a way to lock things down with Logan Thompson right now. I mean, imagine if this was Hill and Thompson out there, how much better off this team would be. So McCrimmon, sure, we can go back and put a little bit on him. Yeah, the players, I mean, fine, they got to figure this out. They're the $1 million athletes, whatever, fine. But I'm going on Cassidy, and I still can't get out of my head. I know this is I'm beating up Lucky. I'm beating up the dead horse right now, but I go back a month and a half ago
Did you
when
just
the
call
team.
Lucky a dead horse?
I did call
Okay.
Lucky a dead horse. You caught that. Thank you.
Yeah, I caught it.
They're a dead organization. The Silver Knights are. But going back to what's happening right now, Cassidy predicts complacency. Sure, maybe we can get some complacency now that we have a healthy team. Players are going to look around and say, "Oh, maybe it's going to be him tonight, where everyone's back. Maybe I can, whatever." Cassidy saw this coming. Cassidy failed to get ahead of it. So I'll start there. Okay, fine. You listen to all the interviews, all the excuses, the puck luck. Oh, we had a fun practice out there. When things were bad in the first half of this crap run, I forgot which game it was. Might have been the Nashville game. Might have been the Nashville game. Oh, they cut practice. They cut practice short. They cut practice short because a few players weren't there. Whatever. I forgot what game that was, but there was one game. It might have been the homestand
And
between
then there's
Florida, Dallas, and
the one
Columbus.
game that they didn't even practice, and the fans went out there and they were they weren't frustrated. I think they were PO'd.
Yeah. So you look at all the way things have been handled. And again, Cassidy gives us a taste of what's happening in that locker room in his interviews and everything. And I don't hear a team that's 3-8-3 or something like whatever
Yeah,
they are in their
not
last
it.
14, 15 games. I don't
Yeah,
feel that when I'm listening to Cassidy talk right now. And that's also a concern right now. And then in closing here, I do feel decent about the defensive pairings, even though you still have Pietrangelo and Hannafin taking turns being in the sinker every single night. But you look at at least the results of the last two games. I'll go Aiden Hill played like crap against the Rangers. I'll put that loss on him, not the defense. And then, yeah, the defense, that breakdown, there was two breakdowns that led to the Islanders' goals, right? Hannafin doesn't skate. White Cloud can't keep up with the winger. And then Hannafin turns the puck over. Brandon Saad doesn't win a board battle. But again, 2 goals given up. But now the top line is where all the goals were coming from. Everything was going through that top line. And now they've mixed everything up with Brandon Saad's arrival. Last 2 games, go back to what was working on the scoring side. Get that top line of Eichel, Barbashev, and Stone back together. And I don't give a Lucky's you-know-what. There you go. I don't give a Lucky's you-know-what about what the other 3 forward lines are. Get that top line back together. Find a path to hopefully 3 points in these last 2 games. It ain't going to happen. But look for a path to 3 points in these last 2 games to give the team a little bit of life when they head into the Four Nations.
so I said 4.5 for the 5 games leading into the break. You were conservative. How many points did you say? You were
I
fewer
thought
than
I said no. I thought I said that's where I would handicap it, and I thought I went under though. Still, I could be
you went
wrong.
under. You did no. You went under. And
Well,
I
I got a winning ticket no matter what happens these last.
I
2
said
games.
it would land exactly on 4.5 points, exactly at 4.5. That's what I said. Of course, yeah, no, a lot of
Mullet
issues.
don't deserve a hook for these last 2 games either.
A lot of issues, but VGK is still there at the very top, right there near the top. Rather now is Edmonton.
Now you sound like Cassidy. Now you sound
Edmonton
like Cassidy.
is starting
Although
to.
I'm the one that's supposed to be saying relax, right? Someone
You
very
don't
nicely
know.
put a tweet out there said I'm the voice of reason right now.
Yeah,
They got dragged
you are.
for it,
Why don't you talk these people off the ledge for crying out
yeah,
loud?
whoever that
Do
was
your
last
job.
night, there was a train going down the tracks without brakes, and that person just walked right in front of it for me. So thank you.
I like when you say relax. We'll be fine. It's okay.
Usually
But I
I'm
don't hear
right,
that.
but I no.
I don't hear that. You don't have that conviction, do you?
I premature troubled waters elated earlier in the season. I should have saved
Remember
my troubled
that?
waters one for later.
Wow, you did say troubled waters.
I
That
did,
was a huge episode.
The team went on like a 19-2 streak after that.
That's right. That was good. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks so much. Of course, sometimes our takes are good. Sometimes they just
Some
miss.
days you're the bug,
like
some
a
days you're the
VGK.
windshield, guys.
Sometimes our takes miss like a William Karlsson shot.
Who?
Exactly. Lars. Remember him? What's the total of players that'll go to Cabo during the break here? We'll see some photos. Of course. I got to check my Instagram every day.
Send them all. Get out of here. Forget about hockey for a while.
They should forget
Eichel and Mark Stone and Aiden Hill. Take them all.
We appreciate everyone tuning in. Thanks so much to the everydayers who put up with us each and every day, wherever you might be. Fridays, WTF. Saturdays, sometimes it is the Chris and Chris Jr. Show. For my man, Chris Golick, I am Tony Cardasco. Have a terrific day, everyone. See you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. And please take care.